be more speedy and we didn't need any discussion, we could just withdraw those that we've already
Training
passed
has started, just so you know.
I'm sorry, I didn't.
and do it as a whole.
The whole thing?
Yeah.
But I thought maybe you wanted to make an amendment.
No, because I figured it out. I needed a little help.
Okay.
And I figured it out. And I
That's-
saw the consolidation that had taken place.
Okay,
All right?
that's cool. That's, hey,
Yeah.
thank you.
Really?
I would love,
I'm in no shape today to
okay,
be.
but if you're
trained.
fine with
I'm
all that
good.
stuff.
I'm fine. Thank you for asking.
But I always mark down.
Okay, so then I'll just ask everybody if they want to pass the whole thing as planned.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Sign it, seal it. Don't-
I want to get a buzzer.
There.
It's all proceeding. Hey, Beth,
Yeah?
No.
he's got the new logo on his business
You know,
cards. He just
the night I
started.
don't,
I miss our doors was
the night you ask, I
You need to
don't.
give more out.
No, $60 you can have your own.
Is that what it costs for one?
I think it was 50, so I have to see, he has an invoice.
It's $50 for a box?
We get that little plastic case. too.
Yeah.
Yes, that was kind of like our little corner.
That makes it.
But it looks nice, huh?
And behind
Yes.
the old,
You know, I gotta be honest, I never get mine out.
you look at the king
It's a
hat.
waste of money.
Now you will, so you can.
The intern.
I don't have any left.
Oh, sure she doesn't.
But what's behind you?
I hope Rich plans to come.
As we looked at the double doors behind the
Just send
audience.
me an email, Jason has to do it, verify mine.
But you might as well set the chambers, really, because that doesn't,
And if she doesn't, if it's not, then it's got
Got those tables pushed together in
just a case.
A very short question form to clarify before you start.
Oh, that's good.
and usually if I have a golf cart, you have to take it to the wrapper.
Can I ask council?
So it's clear.
It's either body heat or summer heat or something is, yes, so, you know.
I would, quite frankly, I would be willing to do
I
that.
hesitate to offer, because usually everybody says,
I'm going around helping people redo their program outcomes and then mapping them to curriculum outcomes.
There's a man
Very
of the
short
hour.
question.
And since you're changing,
This revised spreadsheet, so, you see, this here is essentially the mill rate,
she's been
correct?
going around with
don't inflate it.
and I've worked with chemistry and
Oh, yeah, I understand.
family.
That's why it's called citizen.
Approximately 65-cent increase per thousand.
That's it, right there.
That's what
You got
I'm
it.
So
That
if
was the rate
somebody,
last year, and this is the rate this year.
so if somebody has $150,000.
Yeah, there's another little,
$97.49.
So they get a 30,000 star exemption, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So 120,000 times 65 cents, that works out to $78
You got
a
it.
year.
That's right. Without the
Very
star
good news.
exemption, it's 97. So yes, you are correct, sir.
Cool, that's great.
And Peter, back to you.
Okay, sign. Business card.
So I sent you those files.
Yes, I pulled them off.
Like the guy on Star Trek.
Because I haven't gotten a new.
I know who he
one.
is. I think you all have the capital plan all pretty much ready to go now too, right?
Yeah.
Good, it's gonna be
So that.
a meeting with some good news, yeah.
sale episode was on Facebook. I was because he was born right about the time it hit the screen. Yeah, he's no kid, but he's older than mine, I think. He's gonna be 30.
Ready to get going? Greetings, open meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Deja vu all over.
Let's begin by having anybody who'd like to address the council. Oh, I'm sorry, roll call.
Mayor Reed,
Present.
Counselor Armstrong,
Here.
Counselor Kelly,
Here.
Counselor Dowdle.
Here.
Counselor Ensel.
Here.
Counselor Casper.
Here.
Counselor Kretzer.
Here.
Now, can we have any persons who'd like to address the council on agenda items only? And tonight's agenda is focusing on the budget. Please, Carol.
I'm sorry, I may be addressing 2 points that, this is the first time I've actually seen the full budget, so 2 of the points that I got my glasses, that I wanted to ask council about, and ask that maybe we consider deferring, but you're probably going to already have decided on it, was the street repair that is $700,000. I'll get to the page, hold on.
4?
Hold on one second.
Cogan?
That's 700.
Of course,
Page
now that I
4.
want to find it.
Page 4.
Right, I'm sorry.
Okay.
So, Hogan Avenue, Cornelia Park, it was originally, it looks to me, like it was originally slated to be done in 2018, and then it was moved to 2017. Since we have such a budget crunch, I'm just concerned why, asking the council why that was moved to 2017, because that's a substantial expenditure. And could we not delay it at least till, maybe we split it up and even do half in 2018 and half in 2019, but that's a substantial expenditure, and it is a street repair. And if we're talking about major expenses that the city needs to do, I would ask that maybe that's a little bit discretionary and maybe it could be put off.
I'll let the councilors address that, obviously, but remember, this is a capital project, so it will be bonded and spread out over subsequent years rather than imposing on this general fund.
I do understand that. It's just that if we are under such constraints, and it still is going to be, even if it's over a 10-year period, I don't know how far it stretches, that's something that...
It's a 15-year life on the streets.
Okay, thank you. It's still, to start in 2017, you know, if we divide that by 15, that's still a substantial amount. So I asked the council to please, especially since last night, so many additional items that probably are important to have included, along with the water and filtration plant and some other things that need to be done for public works. I think that this is something that could definitely be put off. So I would ask that the council, even though it's like the 9th, 10th, 11th hour, that they strongly consider that. The other question, and I did email the council on this, was I don't know, so I'm acting in the dark here, but with the Wilcox docks, or the docks that are going to be transported, I understand that there's reimbursement. I think that we spent $50,000. Is that what we spent on the purchase of the docks? Does anybody know?
That's correct.
Okay. So what are the conditions by which we are getting reimbursed?
We're looking into that. I met with the department head today to ask that very question. And I also raised your concern about when they would actually need to be here. Could we delay that? And we're exploring that. Hopefully we'll have some news for you next week.
So I'm going to put it in the public forum now that if I was under management of the city funds right now, I would ask that we ask if we can't continue to store them where they are, because if we inform them that we are planning to move them and that it's not going to be an indefinite period of time, a month, 2 months might be sufficient. Even if, God forbid, they say that, you know, we're going to ask for a minor storage fee of $500 or something like that, I think that would be better spent to first get reimbursed and then use a portion of that reimbursement to then transport. The other thing is, I don't know if it was put out to bid, but how did we come up with $35,000 to transport? I know there's probably hundreds of docks. I don't know. How many docks are we talking about?
Well, the recreation superintendent, he contacted, as far as I know, and spoke with the, I think GE that owns the docks, and I think that they were only able to stay there maybe for a month at the max. So that, but they want them out now. And so that was one thing that I don't know if we got a definitive answer about the time frame, but he said that he was under the impression that it was weeks that we could store them there and not months.
And he is exploring that. So we're doing the best we
But back to the
can.
other question is, just like in any other expenditure, has it been put out to bid? Who has the city contacted to find out, isn't there a cheaper way to transport them?
We are.
$35,000 is a lot of
We
money.
have two vendors, we're waiting for a price from a third, and they're both relatively close at the $35,000.
Yeah.
first two we got.
So
Waiting for a third price.
if we could, we'll move on with the meeting.
Yeah,
That's the 5
yeah.
minutes. If we can have another opportunity at the end of the meeting for more comments.
Okay. The last thing is, obviously, I do have a concern that the $50,000 that is supposed to be slated for the improvement for the seawall and the stairwell at Champlain Monument be included. Thank you.
Thank
It
you.
is.
Any other individuals would like to address the council on the issue of the budget or the capital plan? Seeing none, we have primarily two pieces on the agenda tonight. One is to approve the amendments to the proposed budget, and the other is to approve the capital plan. Since yesterday, as you know, we've been working very diligently for a couple of weeks now to have made tremendous progress. Once the Chamberlain had reconciled the previous mayor's budget, and we saw that there was potentially a 28% tax increase, I think that as of last night, that was now whittled down to under 7%, so 3/4 of the way to zero. The council's going to consider some further actions. The Mike Branch with the police department was able to find some additional savings, and I've worked hard with our Chamberlain today. I believe that we will be able to whittle that down even further to about 5.9% a tax rate, which translates into, for a median priced home of $150,000 with a star exemption of $30,000, that represents still an increase to the taxpayers, but now at a much more affordable $78 per year. So I really applaud the councillors and the Chamberlain and Captain Acting Chief Branch of the police for all the good work that has gone into these deliberations tonight. Of course, this is very difficult work that they've done, but I think they've made just amazing progress. So having said that, I'd like to have a motion to, would you like to read the resolution for this?
The Common Council wishes to amend the mayor's budget for 2017 by decreasing appropriations for expenses related to the police department by $25,836, including a reduction in overtime of $24,000 with a related reduction to general fund social security matching of $1,836.
So moved by Councilor Armstrong and seconded by Councilor Dowdle. Discussion, please. Prepared to vote? Roll call.
Councilor Armstrong?
Yes.
Councilor Kelly?
Yes.
Councilor Dowdle?
Yes.
Councilor Ensel?
Yes.
Councilor Casper?
Yes.
Councilor Kretzer?
Yes.
Are there any other further amendments for the budget we're still talking about tonight?
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify on this sheet that Chamberlain Marks provided. It says the tax increase is 5.9007, and that the property tax increase is 97.49.
That's $97.49 is without the star exemption. Most of our taxpayers have the star exemptions, or lowers it even more.
Thank you.
The 5.9% is tax rate increase, even though the levy increase is 6.67%.
And the difference there, if I understand correctly, is there was an increase in property values that the Chamberlain has been able to calculate today based on some very recent information.
Good.
Mayor, I have a question. In terms of approving the capital plan, we don't have a resolution on here per se. Is
It's
that,
included, well,
is it, it's implied in the budget?
No, it's the attached amendments, so that means right here. So the first amendment, we have approved the attached amendment, so the first one was this one. Now you're going to have to go through the capital ones. We're going to have to do those.
So we'll do another one very much like this, but we'll call it the capital
Oh,
plan.
I see. You're seeing this as the attached, okay.
Because I didn't have it until just now.
So is that something we do under,
I think I'd entertain a motion to amend the budget first, and then we'll do the capital plan second, just so
Well, Richard
because,
told me we were going to be able to do the capital project because it's considered part of the proposed budget.
we could, but you'll have a bunch of different amendments for the capital plan, right? So we've
I
got now
think
one.
not. I think where the council is prepared to vote as a
Okay.
total capital plan.
So you're going to just make the resolution to
approve the capital
approve the
plan.
capital plan as attached, and
Yes.
then that's what I'll do with the first and second one.
Right? With-
That
Is
is
there
moved
any
by-
objection?
But just in deference to the question that was raised about Kogan, I think it's worthwhile to ask Kevin Farrington to weigh in about decision to move Kogan up to 2017.
It's up to you. I recommended it for 2018.
Yeah.
But the council asked to have it moved to 2017.
Who? Somebody
And
asked.
Mr. Marks, is it true that this expense will not actually, we will not actually start paying till 2018 for this expense?
Right.
Does that make you feel better, Ms. Klepper, to know that there won't be any actual expense for this project until 2018?
Yeah, I do understand that, and thank you for clarifying that it's 2018. My concern is that because the mayor and the council and the department heads have worked so hard to trim down the budget and forego some expenses that maybe needed to be done in 2017 to delay in 2018, I do ask that it be deferred, because I think that those are gonna come back to haunt us in 2018, and we're not, and 700,000 is a lot of money, and even though it's bonded and we divide it by 15 or whatever the calculation would be to defer, to spread that out, it's still quite a substantial outlay. And I think that with a lot of things, what we're finding as a council and as a resident that I hear, is that sometimes things are put to vote as an expenditure, and we don't have a complete plan as to, is that money going to be sufficient to fund that expenditure? And so that, at the end of the year, it comes back to haunt us that now we're depleting some other funds to cover those costs. So I still ask the council to please defer
Right.
that to 2018, especially since the city engineer said that that should not be a problem.
You know, just
Is-
building upon this point of, I don't have a brain tonight, so bear with me. You know, I mean, I know that we're going to be having to do a lot of work as a result of the pipe replacement in Lake Country Village, and I'm really happy that that's going to take place. And if we're concerned about, you know, the totals we're gonna have to bond, if it's possible, if there's no emergency on Kogan, Kevin, don't you think it would be more prudent to move that over? I was just asking you before why you moved it to 2017. Was there some kind of emergency that you were trying to address?
No, like I said, I had recommended it for 2018, and it was a council request to move it to 2017.
Okay.
And, yeah.
Yes, because, and I made the request and talked
Oh,
about
okay.
it. Because originally it was going to be just from Cornelia to Terrace West, just that small strip where you basically enter. And then it deteriorated so badly that there were so many complaints, and DBW was filling it in, and that's where it went. And it's never been actually finished. I mean, the curbing, you can see the street, the drainage, there's drainage issues. So having had that discussion, it's just a
I
mess.
understand that, and I appreciate your advocacy for your ward. However, I could just as easily advocate, I think many of us would love to advocate for some of the roads in our areas too. And I would defer to Kevin to measure the relative importance of the streets, you know?
How about if we compromise and do half this year and half next year?
Well, I think one of the issues was going to be, it was going to be more than just a resurfacing. Because some of the safety issues have come into play because of the commercial properties from Cogan to Park Avenue.
Okay.
Oh, can I just, in order to
Point of
clarify,
order?
point of order,
Okay.
yeah, been a little lost in the weeds here. And I wish I could rewind that.
You can.
Did we actually, we were talking about whether the council was agreeable to
Right.
accept the plan as a whole, but I don't believe that we had a motion. So what we can do, since we have not made that
Okay.
decision, is we can say that we're just going to look at the street resurfacing, and anybody can make an amendment
Okay.
to that.
All right, that
Is that
sounds reasonable.
Sure.
And then our conversation can be tagged to
That is a
that.
much more organized way to approach this.
Okay, then
Well,
Are
yes,
you going to approve your?
because
are you
that,
going to be-
How about if you have a first and a second just to approve the budget separately and then do the capital plan, because we're starting to jump from one to the other,
Okay,
correct?
so is that B, item B?
We would create a second category item, A2. I think there's all agreement on the budget, so let's get that
Okay,
aside and then ask for
Sounds
any
good.
additional amendments to the capital plan.
But
It
what
might
we're
be-
doing, this is part of the proposed budget.
Understand that.
So that's what I mean, this, we can't get here until we've made.
To here, that's right, yeah, that's,
So we
this is
need to
the,
do, we've already done this amendment to the
so we
release.
accepted the amendment
That's
for the
done.
budget, so now we need a motion for amending the capital plan, if you'd like to
Right,
do it in
yes.
2 parts.
right.
Okay.
So I move that we amend the capital plan with regard to Cogan Avenue to move it to 2018.
And accept the rest of the capital
And
plan
accept-
as
exactly,
amended in this
exactly.
document.
I
Is there a
will
second?
that.
Discussion.
It just occurred to me that we're way behind on paving, and this puts us further behind. So I don't know, on second thought, I don't know if this is such a great thing to do.
Is there a set of roads in your priorities, Kevin, that you believe need more attention than Cogan Avenue in the upcoming year?
Yeah, I did not recommend Cogan for this year. And that was before, and then since these problems have come up with all the problems with the asbestos concrete pipe, which has some urgency to it, so that's becoming a priority. So in the bigger picture, I would be perfectly comfortable postponing Cogan Avenue for at least a year.
And in the spirit of Councilor Kelly's question, are there other priorities that you'd rather substitute for Cogan Avenue?
Well, no, I mean, we could go back to, you know, the capital budget discussions about roads and paving and priorities, but I've laid it out, and I think that the plan that you have in front of you is a good plan, and it helps us address our most pressing needs in
Okay.
a prioritized way where we can manage our overall pavement infrastructure.
Yeah, but and the idea of doing that, I think, gives us more leeway in whatever cost overruns we might encounter. I don't know if this is a perfect prediction of the cost for the street repair. I mean, is that pretty accurate? You don't anticipate
Yeah,
any
I would hope
increases?
I would hope that we can do those all under budget.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
So I think the consensus is to adopt the capital plan as amended, but move the Cogan Avenue out of 2017. I guess the remaining question is, are you proposing to move it into a certain?
2018.
2018?
That's my amendment.
That's the motion on the table right now.
And I think we have a first and second, don't we?
Yes, we do.
So we need to vote on that.
Any further discussion? Do you feel you're prepared to vote? Roll call.
Counselor Armstrong?
Yes.
Counselor Kelly?
Yes.
Counselor Dowdle?
Yes.
Counselor Ensel?
Yes.
Counselor Casper?
Yes.
Counselor Kretzer?
Yes.
So now we can
So there's 2 remaining items. Now you've constructed and amended a budget. Now we're required to accept the overall budget as amended. And the second part of that will be to resolve to accept the tax warrants going to be associated with that, just to make sure we all understand it. I think I'm procedurally correct then?
Motion to adopt the Common Council proposed 2017 budget last revised on January 13th, 2017.
Moved by Councilor Kretzer and seconded by Councilor Casper. Discussion. Councilor
First of all, kind of being the new person here on the block, I just want to say my sincere thank you to the department heads, and especially Richard for all your efforts and your cooperation with this, and certainly to my colleagues here on the council. I think while we can be pleased with the whittling we've done, we shouldn't be happy with the tax rate that we're at. As has been noted many times, there certainly are some structural issues with the budget, and probably some systemic issues with it. as well. Budget Officer Kelly, Counselor Kelly and I have been in some discussion, and I think we're going to work get started very shortly on and looking at some of these issues and so on. I'm going to go on the record and say that most likely I'm not going to vote in favor of the budget at this point, but that vote is not meant to diminish everyone's efforts at this point.
Any further discussion? Prepared for a vote? Roll call, please.
Counselor Armstrong?
Yes.
Counselor Kelly?
Yes.
Counselor Dowdle?
Yes.
Counselor Ensel?
No.
Counselor Casper?
Yes.
Counselor Kretzer?
Yes.
Motion passes, requires a 4-member vote. We have 5 members, and I'm actually not allowed to break the tie in this, so this is passed.
Resolved in accordance with the request, therefore the Common Council approves the proposed 2017 budget.
I'd like to make a motion to waive the reading.
Moved by Counselor Kretzer, seconded by Counselor Casper. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes to waive the reading. Do I have a motion on the resolution itself? Counselor Kretzer, and seconded by Counselor Casper. Discussion.
Well, I guess I'll take this opportunity to say that this has been a kind of a grueling process, a protracted process, and it's a process that can be improved. I know that we all acknowledge that. You know, we've over the period of time that all of us have been working together since 2014, you know, we've had some bumps, we've had some great learning experiences, and you know, I know of the plans that have kind of come up from the grassroots to make this budgeting process, you know, improving and evolving and becoming more efficient along the way. And I am looking forward to the efforts that will be made to not only start working on efficiencies and savings and so forth, but to get a clear picture that can be delivered to the public on a periodic basis, if not monthly basis, where you know the things that are going on within the departments, not only budgetarily but operationally, can be shared, and all of that information is data that we can use. And it gives a bigger, clearer context within which we can make our decisions. And, you know, working together, I'm sure we can really accomplish great things, and I'm looking forward to it as well.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All right, Counselor Kelly.
Just like to say that Peter Ensel, our newest council member, contacted me today and asked if he could participate in this thing I've been talking about, which is attacking the structural deficit. And I don't know how to do it myself, I'll be honest with you, but we're going to do it. We will have a structurally balanced budget when we're done, I promise you. And I'm more than happy to have Peter Ensel help and be a part of it. And also anyone else on the council who wants to work on this together. Even if we have to have open meetings to do that, we'll do it. I guess ever since I've been on the council, I've been looking for a legacy. What can I do that'll leave a legacy in our city? And you know, I thought the marina, maybe the downtown development, lots of different things, but leaving the public a balanced budget would help 20,000 people lead a better life, and that's what we're going to do. So I'm excited about the opportunity. I'm excited to work with you, Mayor Reed, to make that happen as well.
Thank you. Counselor Kretzer.
Just wanted to say that, obviously, it's been a very difficult process, and it's been a very collaborative process, and really, the only way that we're all going to be able to continue to succeed and do the good things that we all want to do for the city is by continuing to work very closely together, and, being together regularly, meeting together, having time to spend with each other, and also, working on all of these structural issues together as a team. And we've been doing a great job so far, and I just look forward to continuing the good work that we're doing together.
Thank you. Any other comments? Seeing none,
Tally
prepared to
ho.
vote? Roll call.
Counselor Armstrong?
Here.
I need 4 yeses, please.
I told you I wasn't feeling well. Okay.
Counselor Armstrong?
Yes, yes, yes.
Counselor Kelly?
Yes.
Counselor Dowdle?
Yes.
Counselor Ensel?
Yes.
Counselor Casper?
Yes.
Counselor Kretzer?
Here, yes.
Motion passed, thank you. Any closing public comments, please? Sure.
Try to keep it short and sweet. I have to agree with Councilor Ensel. It's not a budget to be proud of. It's a stopgap, the best that you could do with the time that you had it, but could do better. But I am heartened a little bit by hearing, Councilor Kelly at the last meeting saying that he was going to look at what does this stuff really cost. You got to look beyond we'll just vote this in. Sometimes you have to say no, and to balance the budget is such a big thing. I don't want to see us have to change our sign at the entrance to the city to tax and spend capital of the North Country. Locate here at your own risk. That's not where I think Plattsburgh needs to be headed. And you're right, that'd be a great legacy to have a balanced budget. And you got a whole year to do so. And I think the people that are on board here can do that. It's very important to us people in the city of Plattsburgh that we do end up with a balanced budget. It is so important. And for the first time, I'm heartened by seeing some people saying that this is a concern of theirs and that it's a goal. And I'm glad to hear that, and I'm glad to hear you guys are working in that direction. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Moore.
As I said, I run a business. I know it's not easy to deal with the everyday maintenance issues, the demands of the department chairs, and everything else that goes into running a city, which I have no clue on. But you have worked so hard. What I do want to say is that what happened tonight with Raquel Armstrong bringing up the question of could we put this off or could we look at this to see what is really needed, and deferring to the expert is so important. You have such key people in every department that have worked for years and know individually what is going on in those departments and can look at the daily operations and know the expenses and forecast the longer term. If I was involved in running a business other than my own, I would defer to having meetings with the department chairs and saying, okay, so this is this year's budget, we need to look at next year and have those meetings and plan. I think that what's lacking in the city, and we've heard it time and time again, and I've witnessed it, is the planning and forethought. Oftentimes, I've come to meetings where department chairs or people in the community have asked, can I have 500 here? Can I have 1,000 here? I just need 10,000 there. And it's voted on right then and there. I think that we need to, as a city, look at things before they come in front of the council for a vote. You need to take the time to spend on thinking things through and seeing if there's ways to save it, to trim it down. The Kogan renovation, every street needs some repair. That's just one piece to the big puzzle. And I think we really need to really not only look at the next year, have a 3-year, have a 5-year plan. There are fixed expenses, but there are maintenance issues that we can forecast as well. And I ask the city to really work on this hard because it does affect residents. In concluding, the concern that I have was voiced. I run a business, I'm in both commercial and residential. Attracting new developers to downtown corridor and the city is going to be difficult with this looming that we have continued increased tax rates. I see, and the people of the council see, and the residents see, time and time again, business going to the town of Plattsburgh. Why is that? We need to look at that revenue stream too. We need to look at why are we losing businesses here? Why are we losing the building of hotels here? What is going on? We have the lakefront and they're building on Route 3 and Canino Street. So I do ask the city to look at revenue streams as well. But thank you very much for working so hard.
Thank you, Carol. Carol, it's Rochelle.
Oh,
Rochelle.
Not to be confused with Raquel.
thank you.
That's all right.
Thank you, and also thank you for singling out the department heads. They made a big contribution to this process over the last week or so, and they are the experts. We will rely upon them. Our work really begins tomorrow and starting for the processes towards our next budget. And obviously, we've talked an awful lot about we want better reporting and better information, and it's going to take a little while for us to implement this as a managerial tool, but I know Chamberlain Marks is determined to do it, and we believe we have the software and the ability to do that. Just give us a little bit of time to roll that out, but we're definitely moving in that direction, and we're going to start immediately and starting to slowly put these processes in place to the point where this time next year, I think it'll be a much more illuminating and much more efficient process. Thank you. Any other final public comments? Seeing none, do I have a motion to adjourn? Moved by Councillor Casper and seconded by Councillor Ensel. Roll call.
Counselor Armstrong?
Yes.
Counselor Kelly?
Yes.
Counselor Dowdle?
Yes.
Counselor Ensel?
Yes.
Counselor Casper?
Yes.
Counselor Kretzer?
Yes.
Jay?
Thank you. Thank you for help.
Beth, that thing that you said that we had to sign for Richard, did you have to have it tonight? That weird thing?
The warrant that we approved?
It was,
some bill.
Oh, the bills? No, if you didn't get any, no. Did you have any that you brought home with you? Oh, he has it. It was a memo?
right, I brought it.
Take some? Okay, no, Tuesday morning or Tuesday you can bring them.
Okay, I'll bring it in Tuesday.
Yeah, Peter forgot his too.
Okay.
Yeah,
That was great,
well,
thank you.
it's just, I knew because this was the capital plans part of it. That one we could use for Once we moved on, then we'll go to the budget.
Thank
Yes.
They passed the budget on October 29th. I wish we could do that.
All right, I'm not going up front because parking lots. Yeah, that
I'll
works.
walk over to you. Did you see the sample day color down there? Did you come in that way or did you come in that way?
I came in that way.
There's such
When we set up this citizens advisory committee.
You're still streaming.
Thanks, guys.
See you guys.
I think so too. You got a lot to offer, so. Yeah.
Be careful.
Thank you, Richard.
Welcome. All part of the job, huh?
Yeah.